This tiny little audio recorder just changed the game. Stick around and I'll tell you how. Wagwan guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Osborne Chin. I'm a Jamaican wedding and lifestyle photographer and filmmaker. You can check out my work on Instagram or on my website at chinphotographics.com. On this channel, I explore all things photography, videography, gear reviews, and tips to help you become a better and more efficient photographer. Today, I'll be doing a quick unboxing of the Zoom F2 and giving you my first impressions of the device itself. This should be very exciting. Anyways, let's jump right in. If you've ever tried to create any video, you will know that it can be a real hassle to get good quality audio to complement your video. If you don't have a good grasp of the concept of audio recording or the techniques involved, then you can easily become stressed if you have your recording too quiet or too loud or not in sync. You always have to be mindful about setting your gain correctly without introducing too much noise. However, in recent years, the technology has advanced to the point where you no longer have to worry about gain staging or setting levels. 32-bit float point recording now allows you to do just that. I could make an entire technical video about the topic of 32-bit float, but to put it simply, 32-bit float allows for ultra high dynamic range recording with the ability to record audio signals exceeding 0 decibels full scale or 0 dBFS. Now, 0 dBFS means 0 decibels relative to the full scale of the file. With 16-bit and 24-bit files, the maximum or loudest signal that can be recorded is 0 dBFS. Once the audio signal reaches 0 decibels full scale, it will clip and distort. With 32-bit floating point, the dynamic range of the file is greatly increased. The maximum signal that can be captured is 770 dBFS. This means that there is 770 decibels more headroom than 16 or 24-bit files. 16-bit WAV files can store audio from 0 decibel full scale down to negative 96 decibels full scale, hence a dynamic range of 93 decibels full scale. And 24-bit WAV files store audio from 0 decibels full scale down to negative 144 decibel full scale, hence a dynamic range of 144 decibels. Compare that with the dynamic range of a 32-bit floating point file, which has a dynamic range of 1528 decibels, which means that it can store audio down from 0 decibel full scale to 758 decibels and above 0 dBFS up to 770 decibels. You can look at 32-bit floating point recording as the audio equivalent to uncompressed raw video. It gives you an extremely large latitude to work with when it comes to audio levels. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like me to provide a more detailed explanation of these audio file types. The exciting thing about the Zoom F2 is that it has this 32-bit float capability. This technology was previously only found in larger, more expensive recorders like the Sound Devices 2 series and the Zoom F6. Recently, Tentacle Sync released the Track E pocket recorder, which also packed 32-bit float in a tiny body. And of course, Zoom wasted no time in releasing their own version of the pocket field recorder with 32-bit float, the Zoom F2 and the F2 Bluetooth. Since the announcement of the Zoom F2 in November last year, I've been waiting to get my hands on it. 3 months later and these things are still unavailable from the major players. In fact, I'm still on the B&H notification list for when it becomes available. Maybe it's because of one major flaw with the F2, but I will address that later on in the video. I picked up my F2 on eBay from Sweetwater Sound. If you don't know who Sweetwater Sound is, they are the largest online retailer of musical instruments and pro audio equipment in the US. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Zoom or Sweetwater. I was lucky enough to see one show up used on their eBay store, and I did not hesitate to buy it with my own money. So now that I have the device with me, let's do a quick unboxing. I've read many online forums that Sweetwater includes candy in their boxes as a sweet way to say thank you for shopping with them. So I'm very excited to see if I have candy in my box. I'm probably more excited about the candy than the recorder itself. First up, you have their catalog card, and inside is a Sweetwater sticker. Nice. I can stick this to my laptop along with all my other stickers. And here it is. The candy, it's a real thing. It says, our sweet way of saying thank you. This is such a sweet touch. Thanks, Sweetwater. Now for the grand reveal. Here is the box that the recorder comes in. Note my box has a sticker on it that says demo, so it appears to have been a display model. Anyways, let's open it up. So inside the box we have the manuals along with other documentation, which includes registration and download instructions for Wavelab Cast and audio editing software. On this side we have the lavalier microphone and 2 AAA batteries. That's a nice touch that it comes with batteries included. I wish they included a micro SD card and a USB-C cable as well. And here we have 3 windscreens and the microphone clip. Everything here looks brand new so far. So this must be it. It's in this fabric bag. So here we go. The F2 in all its glory. Tiny glory. It's extremely small and light. Wow, I feel like if I drop this thing it will break. Jeez. Having said that, let's talk about the recorder itself. The Zoom F2 comes in 2 versions, the Bluetooth version and the non-Bluetooth version. The Bluetooth version sells for $199 and the non-Bluetooth version sells for $149, just $50 less. The Bluetooth version has wireless timecode synchronization and allows for remote connection to the F2 Control mobile app. Of course, I got the non-Bluetooth version because this is what was available and for a steal of a price too. Like I mentioned before, this recorder is extremely tiny, extremely lightweight. It is made of plastic, which to be honest feels very cheap, but it does have a lot going for it. The F2 features a stereo locking 1/8 or 3.5mm mic input with 2.5 volts plug-in power and a stereo 3.5mm headphone or line output. It has a dedicated volume control for the output where you can monitor your audio or change the output levels if you're outputting to another device like a wireless transmitter. On the front of the recorder there is a nice big record button and a dedicated switch to toggle between off, on, and hold to lock the device and prevent unwanted or accidental pressing of the buttons which could ruin your recording. There is also a stop and playback button which allows you to play back your audio recordings. This has a caveat though, as you can only play back your last recording. If you want to listen to previous recordings, you have to connect it to your computer to access those files. Not a deal breaker for me at all. The battery compartment is right on the front of the device and it takes a little bit of effort to get it open. Make sure your fingers are dry because they will slip off when trying to open it. There's nothing to grip onto when opening it. And when it does open, it makes a cracking sound that's very worrying. I fear that it may break the little clips that hold the cover in place. This part is very poorly made, but if it breaks, I guess I'll have no issues using some gaff tape to hold it together, like I do everything else that breaks. There are 3 little LED lights on the recorder. The input LED lights up according to the input level through the input jack. The battery LED lights up when the recorder is turned on and changes color according to the remaining battery charge. The record or the play LED lights up during recording and playback. On the back of the device, it has a quick clip to be attached to a belt or clothing. This clip is very tight and it feels like it may break if you push it too hard, but it should do the job just fine. Just don't force it onto a very thick belt. There's also the slot for the micro SD card on the back of the unit. The door on the slot is quite finicky and I don't have any real confidence it will hold up to heavy use. But if you aren't constantly swapping out cards, then you should be just fine. The F2 supports micro SD cards up to 512 gigabytes. So you really have no need to remove the card once you have a high capacity card in the device. It also supports sample rates of 44.1 and 48 kHz, which you can change in the F2 editor app. And like I mentioned before, it benefits from 32-bit floating point recording. It is also capable of enabling a high pass or low cut filter. Again, this can be done using the F2 editor app. The recorder runs on 2 AAA batteries. Now Zoom estimates that regular alkaline batteries should give you up to 14 hours runtime. Nickel metal hydride batteries should give you 10 hours and lithium batteries will give you 18 hours. I've heard cases where lithium batteries are giving a whopping 21 hours runtime. Now that's really impressive. The device also has a USB-C connection which allows you to connect your recorder to your computer to transfer files and to connect to the F2 editor app. Please note that the USB-C connection is limited to only USB 2.0. So data transfer speeds will not be as fast as the newer USB 3.0. I'm not sure why Zoom didn't use USB 3.0, which is 10 times faster than 2.0, or even USB 3.1, which is 20 times faster. The USB-C port can also be used to provide power to the F2, but it will not charge the battery if you're using rechargeable batteries. The F2 editor app lets you adjust settings, format the SD card, select the battery type, and all the other functions I mentioned earlier, like sample rates and enabling the low cut filter. So, as you saw in the unboxing, the F2 comes with its proprietary lavalier microphone. Honestly, it's not the best sounding microphone in the world, but it's a very solid option. In fact, you've been listening to it for this entire video so far. The microphone doesn't have the best build quality either. It's plasticky and it comes with a plastic mic clip. It does allow you to twist and turn it though, so that can be quite useful when placing the mic on someone. The mic has a sound pressure level rating of 115 decibels SPL, which is excellent for a lav mic. However, you need to be aware that if your sound source is louder than 115 decibels, then chances are it will clip the microphone and cause distortion in your audio, which cannot be recovered, not even with 32-bit float. So in other words, the actual file itself will not be clipped, but the microphone will be clipped because the sound source exceeded the maximum sound pressure level that the microphone can accept. I hope that made sense. So who is the F2 for? And do you need 32-bit float? Well, the short answer to that question is the F2 is aimed at a wide range of content creators. If you have a need for a lavalier and a small portable recorder, then the F2 will be perfect for you. So people like wedding videographers, musicians, podcasters, interviewers, reporters, and even YouTubers will find the F2 a useful and invaluable tool in their kit bag. Do you need 32-bit float? No, you don't. 24-bit is plenty enough to handle any sound thrown at it. You just have to be aware of your recording environment and be in control of your gain staging. There is a reason 24-bit is the industry standard for professional level audio recording. I recommend that you learn more about audio recording and the benefits and limitations of the various file types so that you'll be able to record good quality audio despite what type of recording equipment you are using. 32-bit float is a luxury and it does not automatically render 16 and 24-bit recording useless. But it is really nice to have though. So, having said that, this recorder will be highly sought after by wedding filmmakers. It will be perfect for miking up a groom or an officiant. You place it on your groom, hit record, and you're good to go for the entire wedding. Now, there is one thing I must point out. My good friends over at KEJ Productions, in their guide to the F2, point out that the F2 cannot accept a line input from a professional device like a mixer because it will clip the file. This, they claim, is due to the fact that the F2 will only accept a maximum input of negative 5.5 dBu. In other words, the F2 will only accept a mic level signal. It will not accept a professional standard line level signal of plus 4 dBu, which is significantly hotter than the maximum negative 5 dBu that the F2 will accept. Please note that there's also a consumer line level signal which is negative 10 dBV for consumer equipment such as CD players, DVD players, and other audio players. I will not go into the details and the technicalities of dBV versus dBu in this video. There are many different resources online that you can check for more clarification. The way it works is this. Before the audio signal gets processed to the final wave file, it goes through a series of gain stages, one of which is the A to D or the audio to digital conversion process. On larger devices like the Zoom F6 or the MixPre 3, it is capable of accepting both mic and line level signal, and it can also attenuate or lower the hotter line level signal before it gets to the A to D converters so that there is no clipping. The maximum input level of the Zoom F6 is plus 4 dBu, which is equivalent to the standard professional line level signal. So even though the F2 has dual AD converters like the F6, it is not able to attenuate the line level signal before it gets to the converters, since its maximum input level is negative 5 dBu. In other words, like I said before, it only accepts a mic level signal. So for those wedding videographers and filmmakers who are wondering if you can get a plus 4 dBu line out feed from a professional mixer to the Zoom F2, the short answer is no. It will clip the audio. It's best to use a different recorder that can accept that line level signal from the mixer, but you will have to ensure that you do the necessary gain staging to get the best possible audio. Now, when I tested this on my small Behringer Xenix 1202 FX mixer, I ran an output from the main out of the mixer to the F2 with the main fader set to unity or 0, and the F2 did not clip. I also took feeds from the control room out as well as the CD tape out directly into the F2, and again there was no clipping. So you can take that for what it is. Just remember that the F2 is designed to be used with a lavalier mic. So for the best results, I recommend that you use it in the way that it was intended in order to avoid any problems in the future. So to conclude, this little Zoom F2 packs a powerful punch. It is small, lightweight, and offers modern 32-bit float technology, which allows you to just plug and play without worrying about gain staging or setting levels. It has a pretty decent lavalier microphone, and it's perfect for wedding films, interviews, and pretty much any other application where you need to be discreet and mobile. It, however, does have its limitations. Firstly, the build quality is to be desired. Zoom really could have used more premium materials in the construction, but I guess they had to cut some corners to keep the cost low. So for that, I'm not complaining at all. Secondly, you will need the F2 editor app to change your settings on the recorder, as well as to format the memory card. There is no USB-C cable or memory card in the box, so you'll need to buy those separately. There's also no display screen and no gain controls. Not that you need any in the first place, since you have 32-bit float. The recorder only records in 32-bit float. There is no option to record in 24-bit or 16-bit. So that means that your file sizes will be larger than usual, especially if you're used to recording in MP3 or 16 and 24-bit WAV files. I will take this opportunity here to mention that some persons have highlighted a major flaw with the Zoom F2. Some units have an issue where the microphone jack is not properly seated in the socket, and hence there's a loud popping sound that shows up in the recording whenever the mic is moved or touched or bumped. This can be a real deal breaker for some people. Now, I learned about this issue after I made my purchase, but luckily my unit does not have this problem. Thank God for that. Now, Zoom has acknowledged the issue, and they have put out a statement saying that they will replace any device that has the issue. I also think that this is the main reason for the delay in shipping out these recorders, as Zoom is fixing the issue. So don't be put off by this issue if you decide that you want to buy the F2. So that's it, guys. I hope the information wasn't too technical and confusing. I really tried to keep things as simple as possible. There are just some things that you can't explain without including technical information, and audio is one of them. So anyways, I hope the video at least helped you to make a decision about picking one of these awesome recorders for yourself. If you found the video useful and helpful, please show some love by clicking that like button. That goes a long way in showing my content to more people on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you, my friends, don't miss out on my future videos just like this one. Continue to stay safe, guys, and go and big up on yourself. One love.